In this video, we're going to be talking about the need to minimize searches and operations within repeating groups. So I'm sitting here on my editor of the social network application, and I'm on that profile search page. We have this repeating group of users which displays a list of users. And as I was setting it up, I decided I actually wanted to display the number of friends that every single profile on my application has. So for this one, the way I set it up is I went, okay, I want to display the number of friends that the profile has. So I'm just going to do a search for friends and I'm going to count this up. So this might be 8, and then for this guy, it might be 4. And I didn't really think about it. But it's really important for us to understand that if we place a search or an operation inside of a cell of a repeating group, it's going to have an impact on performance. And the reason why is that this search is multiplied by the number of cells in this group. So what I mean by that is right now I've set up a search for friends count and we have 10 profiles. So that means that we are going to be running a search on this particular profile, then this profile, then this profile, and then every single profile that we have in our database. So we're running 10 searches. Now, as our application is growing, we're getting more and more profiles. And all of a sudden, this repeating group has 100 profiles. Now, we are actually running 100 searches because every single cell in this repeating group is running a search for friends count. And as you can imagine, right now we don't notice any impact on performance. But all of a sudden, when we have 100 users that we're displaying to the end user, and then we're running 100 more searches to display the number of friends they have, it's going to impact the performance of our application and also the speed of our application because we're downloading so much information from the database. And what I want to highlight is that anything you add in a repeating group is multiplied by the number of cells in a repeating group. So how do we actually reduce this? How do we minimize this? So what I'm actually going to do, because I still want to display the number of friends, is instead of doing a search, I'm going to jump to my database and I'm actually going to create a new field. And I'm going to call it number of friends. And I'm going to make it a number. And basically every time we accept a friend request, we're just going to increase the number of friends on the user who accepted the friend request and the user who sent the friend request. So there is another workflow to be set up associated with it, but I'm not going to go into that one in detail. But if I jump back to my design tab, I'm going to remove this search for friends, and then I'm going to go parent group users, number of friends. And now we're just displaying information from the user, which has already been downloaded onto the page as part of this search, instead of running a additional search inside of this cell. So that's just a way in which we have an alternative to a cell search. We can store a value as a separate data field on the user itself, and then display this to remove the search. And ultimately, that improves the performance and improves the load speed.